Nehemiah 1. The words of Nehemiah, son of Hakaliah. And it came to pass in the month of Kislev, in the 20th year, when I was in Susa, the stronghold, that Hanani, one of my brethren, came, he and some of Judah, and I asked them about the Jews who had escaped, and who remained from the captivity, and about Jerusalem. And they said to me, the rest, who remained in captivity, there in the province are in great misery and contempt, and the wall of Jerusalem was broken and its gates were burned with fire. And it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept, and lamented for some days, and I have been fasting and praying before the God of heaven. And he said, O Lord God of heaven, great and terrible God, who keeps covenant and kindness toward those who love him and keep his commandments. Let your ears therefore be attentive and your eyes open, to hear the prayer of your servant, which I pray before you today, day and night, for the children of Israel, your servants, and I make confession for the sins of the children of Israel, which we have committed against you. I also and my father's house have sinned. We have completely corrupted ourselves against you, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments, which you commanded Moses your servant. Remember therefore the word which you commanded Moses your servant, saying, You will transgress, and I will scatter you among the peoples. And you will return to me, and you will keep my commandments and do them. Then, even though your rejected ones are at the end of heaven, from there I will gather them and bring them to the place that I have chosen to make my name dwell there. They are your servants and your people whom you rescued with your great strength and with your strong hand. O Lord, let your ears therefore be attentive to the prayer of your servant, and to the prayer of your servants who desire to fear your name, and make your servant prosperous today, and give him favor before this man. So I was the king's cupbearer. Nehemiah 2. So it came to pass in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, that wine was set before him, and I took the wine and gave it to the king, but I had never been sad before him. And the king said unto me, Why is thy face sad, seeing thou art not sick? This is nothing but sadness of heart, so I feared greatly. And he said to the king, Long live the king forever. How would my face not be sad, when the city, the place of my father's tombs, was devastated, and its gates were consumed by fire? And the king said to me, What do you ask of me now? So I prayed to the God of heaven. And he said to the king, If it please the king, and if your servant is accepted in your presence, I pray you, send me to Judah, to the city of my father's tombs, that I may rebuild it. Then the king said to me, as the queen sat by him, How long will your journey last, and when will you return? And it pleased the king to send me, and I appointed him a certain time. And he said to the king, If it seems good to the king, let me be given letters to the governors beyond the river, so that they may allow me to pass until I reach Judah. And also a letter to Asaph, keeper of the king's forest, to give me wood to cover the gates of the palace of the house, for the wall of the city, and for the house which I shall enter. And the king gave, but, according to the good hand of God upon me. Then I went to the governors beyond the river, and gave them the king's letters, and the king had sent with me captains of the army and knights. When Sanballat the Horonite and Tobiah the Ammonite servant heard it, they were extremely displeased that someone should come to seek the good of the children of Israel. And I came to Jerusalem, and was there 3 days. And I arose in the night, I and a few men with me, and declared to no one what my God had put in my heart to do in Jerusalem, and there was no animal with me except the one on which I was riding. And by night I went out by the gate of the valley, and by the fountain of the dragon, and by the gate of the dunghill, and beheld the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken, and the gates thereof, which had been consumed by fire. And I passed to the fountain gate, and to the king's pool, and there was no place where the animal he was riding could pass. Still, at night I went up the stream and looked at the wall, and turning I entered through the valley gate, so I came back. And the magistrates did not know where I had gone or what I was doing, for he had not yet declared anything to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the magistrates, nor to those who did the work. Then he said to them, You see the misery we are in, that Jerusalem is desolate, and its gates have been burned with fire. Come therefore, and let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and let us no longer be a reproach. Then I declared to them how the hand of my God had been favorable to me, and also the words of the king which he had spoken to me. Then they said, Let us arise, and let us build. And they exerted their hands for good. When Sanballat the Horonite, and Tobiah the Ammonite servant, and Geshem the Arab heard, they mocked us, and despised us, and said, What is this that ye do? Do you want to rebel against the king? Then I answered them, and said, It is the God of heaven that will prosper us, and we as servants will arise and build, but you have no part, no righteousness, no memory in Jerusalem. Nehemiah 3. And Eliashib the high priest arose with his brethren the priests, and they rebuilt the cattle gate, which they consecrated, and they raised up their gates, and consecrated as far as the tower of Meah, and as far as the tower of Hananel. And the men of Jericho built next to it, also at his side he built Zachar, the son of Imri. And the children of Hasenub built at the fish gate, which they built up, and set up its doors, with their locks and their bolts. And Mirmoth the son of Uriah, the son of Koz, repaired by his side, and at his side repaired Meshullam the son of Berechiah, the son of Meshezabeel, and at his side repaired Zadok the son of Baanah. And the Tekoites repaired beside him, but their nobles did not submit their necks to the service of their lord. And Jehoiada the son of Paseah and Meshullam the son of Besodias repaired the old gate, these built it, and set up its doors with their locks and their bolts. And beside him repaired Melatius the Gibeonite and Jadam the Meronotite, men of Gibeon and Mizpah, who belonged to the governor's domain beyond the river. Next to him stood Uzziel, the son of Hariah, one of the goldsmiths, and at his side Hananiah, the son of one of the apothecaries, repaired, and they fortified Jerusalem up to the broad wall. And by his side stood Rephaiah the son of Hur, leader of the half of Jerusalem. And at his side repaired Jediah the son of Harumaph, and opposite his house and at his side repaired Hattus the son of Hashabniah. The other portion repaired Malchiah the son of Haram, and Hashub the son of Pathmoab, as well as the oven tower. And Shallum the son of Haloish, leader of the other half of Jerusalem, repaired by his side, he and his daughters. Hanan and the inhabitants of Zanoah repaired the gate of the valley, they built it, and built its doors with their locks and bolts, and 1,000 cubits of the wall, as far as the gate of the dunghill. And Malchiah the son of Rechab, leader of the district of Beth Hatcherim, repaired the door of the dunghill, he built it, and built its doors with their locks and their bolts. And Shallum the son of Calhoz, leader of the district of Mizpeh, repaired the fountain gate, he built it, covered it, and built its doors with their locks and bolts, as well as the wall of the pool of Haselah, at the foot of the king's garden, and as far as the steps leading down from the city of David. After him built Nehemiah the son of Azbuk, leader of the half of Beth Zur, as far as the tombs of David, as far as the artificial pool and as far as the house of the mighty men. After him the Levites repaired Rehum son of Bani, beside him noticed Hazabiah, leader of the half of Keilah, in his district. After him, his brothers, Bavai, son of Henadad, leader of the other half of Keilah, repaired. Next to him, Ezra, son of Jeshua, leader of Mizpah, noticed another portion, opposite the ascent to the armory, at the corner. After him Baruch, son of Zabai, repaired with great ardor another measure, from the corner to the door of the house of Eliashib, the high priest. After him Mirmoth the son of Uriah, the son of Koz, repaired another portion, from the gate of Eliashib's house to the end of Eliashib's house. And after him the priests who dwelt in the plain repaired. Then he noticed Benjamin and Hashub in front of his house. After him Azariah the son of Maaseiah, the son of Ananias, repaired by his house. After him Binnui the son of Henadad repaired another portion, from the house of Azariah to the corner, into the corner. Palal, son of Uzai, noticed opposite the corner, in the tower that comes out of the upper royal house, which is next to the prison yard. After him Pedaiah, son of Paras. And the servants of the temple that dwelt in Ophel, as far as the water gate, toward the east, and as far as the high tower. Then the Tekoites repaired another portion, opposite the great and high tower, and as far as the wall of Ophel. From above the horse gate the priests repaired, each in front of his house. After them Zadok the son of Immer repaired in front of his house, and after him repaired Shemaiah the son of Shechaniah, guard of the eastern gate. After him Hananiah the son of Shelemiah and Hanan the son of Zalaph the sixth repaired another portion. After him Meshullam the son of Berechiah repaired in front of his chamber. After him Malchiah, the son of a goldsmith, repaired as far as the house of the temple servants and merchants, opposite the gate of Mifkad, and as far as the chamber in the corner. And between the corner chamber and the cattle gate, the goldsmiths and the merchants repaired. Nehemiah 4. And it came to pass, when Sanballat heard that we were building the wall, that he burned with wrath, and was very wroth, and mocked the Jews. And he spake in the presence of his brethren, and of the army of Samaria, and said, What do these weak Jews? Will they be allowed this? Will they sacrifice? Will they finish it in a single day? Will the stones that have been burned be revived from the heaps of dust? And Tobiah the Ammonite was with him, and said, Even if they build, yet if a fox comes, he will easily break down their stone wall. Hear, O our God, who are so despised, and take their reproach upon their heads, and give them as prey in the land of captivity. And do not cover their iniquity, and do not blot out their sin from before you, for they provoked you to anger in the presence of the builders. But we built the wall, and the whole wall was closed up to its half, because the people's hearts were inclined to work. And it came to pass, when Sanballat and Tobiah, and the Arabs, the Ammonites, and the Ashdodites, heard that the repair of the walls of Jerusalem was increasing so much, that the breaches were beginning to be filled, they became very angry. And they all gathered together to come and fight against Jerusalem, and to divert them from their intention. But we prayed to our God and set a guard against them day and night for their sake. Then Judah said, The strength of the bearers has failed, and the dust is too much, and we will not be able to build the wall. But our enemies said, They shall know nothing of this, nor see it, until we come in among them, and kill them, so we will stop the work. And it came to pass, when the Jews that dwelt among them came, that they said unto us 10 times, They will come again against us from every place. Then I set guards in the low places behind the wall and in the high places, and I set the people by their families with their swords, with their spears, and with their bows. And I looked, and stood up, and said to the nobles, and to the magistrates, and to the rest of the people, Fear them not, remember the great and terrible Lord, and fight for your brothers, your children, your wives, and your homes. And it came to pass, when our enemies heard that we knew it already, and that God had dispelled their counsel, that we all returned to the wall, each one to his work. And it came to pass from that day that half of my servants worked on the work, and half of them had the spears, the shields, the bows and the breastplates, and the leaders were behind the whole house of Judah. Those who built the wall, those who carried the loads and those who carried it, each one did the work with one hand, and in the other he had the weapons. And the builders each had his sword girded about his waist, and they built, and he who blew the trumpet was with me. And I said to the nobles, to the magistrates, and to the rest of the people, Great and extensive is the work, and we are separated from the wall, far from one another. In the place where you hear the sound of the horn, there you will join us, our God will fight for us. This is how we worked on the project, and half of them had spears from the rising of the dawn until the rising of the stars. Also at that time he said to the people, Let each one with his servant remain in Jerusalem, so that they may serve as our guard by night, and by day on the work. And neither I, nor my brothers, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard who followed me let go of our clothes, each had their weapons and water. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and leave a comment.